Everyone says avoid PMI at all costs. Save up to 20% down. Don't throw money away on private mortgage insurance. But they're wrong. And this bad advice could be costing you tens of thousands of dollars, maybe even more. And I'm going to show you the math that the personal finance gurus don't want you to see. So stay with me because by the time you get to the end of this video, you might completely change how you think about buying a home. Welcome everyone to Mind Your Money Monday. I'm Sabria Callis, your partner in finding and funding your new home, helping renters and first-time home buyers turn their dream of home ownership into reality. If you're new here, make sure you hit the subscribe button, tap that bell because every week I share real-world home ownership tips, Houston market insights, and inspiration to help you dream it, affirm it, and own it. First, let's make sure that we're all on the same page. PMI stands for Private Mortgage Insurance. It's what lenders require when you put down less than 20% on a conventional loan. And here's how it typically works. If you buy a $400,000 house with 10% down, that's $40,000 that you'll pay PMI on top of your mortgage payment, depending on your credit score and the loan terms. That's usually somewhere between 0.5 to 1% of the loan amount per year. So on $360,000 home loan, you might be anywhere from $150 to $300 a month in PMI. That's $1,800 to $36 per year. And yes, that feels like money going down the drain. It doesn't build equity. It doesn't reduce your principal. It just disappears. So the conventional wisdom says save up to your full 20% down, avoid PMI completely, be patient. It sounds smart, right? But here's what they're not telling you. Let's run a real world scenario. I'm going to show you two different paths, and you tell me which one sounds better. Path A, what I like to call the smart path. You're ready to buy a home. You've saved up $40,000. That's a 10% down on a $400,000 house. But everyone tells you to wait, save up to $80,000 so you can put 20% down and void PMI. You're a good saver. Let's say you can save another $2,000 per month. That means it'll take you 20 months, almost 2 years to save that additional $40,000. During those 2 years, you're still renting. Let's say you're paying $2,200 per month in rent. That's $52,800 in rate payments over 20 months. Money that you'll never see again. But here's the kicker. Home prices don't just sit still while you're saving. Over the past 40 years, home prices have appreciated on an average of 4 to 5% annually. Even in slower markets, you typically see 3% appreciation. So we're going to be conservative and use 4%. In 2 years, that $400,000 house is now worth $432,640. You save $40,000 to avoid the PMI, but now you need an extra $32,640 just to buy the same house. Plus, you spent $52,800 on rent. Then there is path B, better known as the risky path. You buy now with 10% down. You pay PMI, let's say $250 per month. Your mortgage payment, principal, interest, taxes, and insurance and PMI is around $2,800 per month. Over those same 20 months, you pay $5,000 in PMI. Yes, that's wasted money, but here's what you gained. You own a home that appreciated by $32,640. You built approximately $10,000 in equity through principal payments. You potentially saved on taxes if you itemize deductions. You didn't spend $52,800 on rent. So let me make this crystal clear. Path A costs you $52,800 in rent plus $32,640 in cost appreciation, $85,440. Path B costs you $5,000 in PMI, the difference of $80,440. And remember, PMI is impermanent. Once you hit 20% equity, either through payments or appreciation, you can request to have it removed. In many cases, that happens within 2 to 3 years. But wait, y'all, there is so much more. And this is where it gets really interesting. What if home prices appreciate faster than the 4%? What if you're in a hot market? Let's say you're looking in a growing area where homes appreciate at 6% annually. Now that $400,000 house becomes $449,440 in 2 years. You didn't just lose the appreciation, you priced yourself out of the market entirely. I've seen this happen over and over. People in 2020 telling me they were going to wait for prices to come down or save up a bigger down payment. Those same people are now looking at homes that cost 40 to 50% more than they did 5 years ago. Here's another angle: interest rates. When rates are low, PMI is even more worth it. If you locked in a 3% rate in 2021 with PMI versus waiting and getting 7% rate in 2023 without PMI, the person who wasted money on PMI is literally saving hundreds of dollars every month compared to the person who waited. And here's the psychological cost nobody measures. How much is it worth to you to live in your own home versus an apartment? To rent, to paint the walls, whatever color that you want, to have the space that your family can actually grow in, to not worry about a landlord selling the property or raising rent. You can't put a price tag on that, but it's real. Now, I'm not saying PMI is always the right choice. Let me be clear about when you should be waiting. First of all, when home prices are flat or declining, if your market is clearly in a downturn or prices are stagnant, then the appreciation argument disappears. In that case, taking your time to save makes so much more sense. Secondly, when you already are close to 20%, if you've got 15 to 17% saved and you can reach your 20% in 3 to 4 months, just wait. The PMI savings won't overcome the short delay. Then you have when the PMI would stretch your budget too much. If that extra $200 to $300 per month in PMI makes your housing payment uncomfortably high, you may not be ready to buy yet, anyways. So don't put yourself in a precarious financial position. Whenever you can't afford closing costs, PMI doesn't help if you're draining your emergency fund to cover closing costs. You need a financial cushion. And lastly, whenever you have high interest debt, if you're carrying credit card debt at 20% interest, pay that off before buying a house. The math completely changes when you've got expensive debt hanging over you. But if you're in a stable financial position, you have good credit, and you're looking in a market with normal appreciation, PMI might be your best friend. So if you're going to go the PMI route, here's how to do it smart. Strategy one, get quotes from multiple lenders. PMI rates do vary significantly between lenders, so shop around. Some lenders offer lower PMI rates as a competitive advantage. Strategy number two, you can improve your credit score. Again, PMI rates are heavily influenced by your credit score. So if you're at a 680, spending a few months getting it to 740, could cut your PMI costs by 30 to 40%. Strategy number three is choosing the right loan structure. Some loans let you pay a lump sum upfront for PMI, which can be cheaper than the monthly payments. Run the numbers for your specific situation. Strategy number four, plan your removal strategy. The moment you hit 20% equity, request a PMI removal. Don't wait for your lender to automatically cancel you at 20%. Get a new appraisal if needed, and be proactive. Strategy number five, make some extra principal payments if you can swing it. Now, making even small extra payments toward your principal accelerates the day you can drop that PMI. Even an extra $100 to $200 a month adds up. Lastly, I want you to consider a piggyback loan, an 80-10-10 loan, 80% first mortgage, 10 second, 10% down. It lets you avoid the PMI entirely, though you'll have to have two different loans to manage. Look, personal finance is personal. There's no one size fits all answer here, but the dogmatic advice to never pay PMI ignores basic math. It ignores opportunity costs. It ignores the reality of appreciating home values. And for most people in most markets, paying PMI for a couple of years is infinitely better than paying rent while watching home prices climb further and further out of reach. Here's my challenge to you: do the math for your situation. Look at your local market's appreciation rate. over the past 5 years. Calculate what you would be paying in rent while saving that additional money. Be honest about how long it would actually take you to save that full 20%. Then compare that to what PMI would actually cost you. I bet you'll be surprised. The truth is, PMI isn't the enemy. Missing out on years of home appreciation while you save and spending tens of thousands of dollars on rent, that's the real financial mistake. Remember, the best time to buy a home was yesterday. The second best time is today. Don't let PMI fearmonger cost you $40,000 or more. Listen, if this video changed how you think about PMI, hit the like button. And if you want more myth busting personal finance content, subscribe to the channel. Drop a comment, let me know. Are you team PMI or team wait and save? I read every comment and I'm genuinely curious what you think about seeing these numbers. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye now.